Hi everyone, and welcome to DoWitt Garage. Today's video will be a short one. We're going to be throwing some ignition coils in my 2003 G35 back here. Let's get into it. Okay, so we had a little bit of excitement yesterday. You guys might remember this car from the radiator replacement. We just did that a week ago. And driving down the road yesterday, and I started getting this terrible pinging noise. The car was severely underpowered, and you could tell something was blatantly wrong. I rolled into an O'Reilly. We had the dash light up. It turns out we had a misfire on cylinder 1, which is going to be right here. Turned out, I knew I put new plugs in it about 10,000 miles ago. We had a bad coil. So we didn't test this, but I put a new one in and it runs much better. So clearly that was our problem. So I do not trust aftermarket coils, which is what I put in there, a Master Pro from O'Reilly just to get me home. But I prefer the original OEM preferably, or at least Japanese made items. So this is the one that came out of it. The Master Pro is still in there. And these are the ones that we're going to be replacing them with today. So we got 6 of these. They're Hitachi brand. Now this one that came out of here is actually a Hanshin model 22448AL615. I couldn't find direct replacements of these, but I went on Rock Auto, overnighted these in, and it's very clear that Hitachi has made plenty of electronics for Infinitis and Nissan, so I think this should be a perfect replacement for us, and if not the original, very comparable to the OEM. They come very nicely packaged. They are absolutely identical to these. And these are model IGC0007. I'm only going to show you replacing this front left one here. It is arguably the easiest to get to. However, they're all relatively easy to replace. All you'll have to do is pull off some wiring harnesses. So, to get us started, we have 4 10mm bolts up top just to pull off this engine cover. Once we get our engine cover out of the way, you can see our coils are right down here, one on the top of each cylinder there. So in order for ease of access, I'm going to just remove this wiring loom. In order to do that, I should say move it out of the way. 10mm here, here, and then 2 10mm here. In addition to that, we're going to pull off this hose there. As you can see, once you remove some of those bolts, we have a lot more flexibility in this wiring harness to make things a lot easier on us. So our coil in the number 1 cylinder right down here, you can see there's this tube. It looks in the way, but you can peel it out to the side. There's only 1 10mm holding this in place. We're going to pop that off, pull it right out of here. If you didn't notice, as I'm undoing all of these bolts, I'm putting them right back in their spot. It's just a good habit to get into if you don't do that already. One little tab on your wiring harness here, you just press that down, and it slides right off of there. And then you can just pull this, try to pull it as straight as possible, but it's okay if you have to go a little bit to the side. It is a little flexible, you just don't want to bend it too much. And there it is. That is our aftermarket one. As you can tell, it's all gray when you compare it to the new one. It just looks like a much more quality part to me, this new one does. So to get them in, it's the exact reverse, with the only exception of here in the end, before you install it, you're going to want to put just a little bit of dielectric grease in here. You don't have to go overboard, but just a little bit. And when you press it down on the spark plug, it makes sure it keeps that free of grease and dirt and get you a good connection. If you take a really close, hard look here, you're going to see there's still some antifreeze that I have not cleaned off since I put the new radiator in this car. And that's okay. Mind your business. I promise it'll get done soon. It's on the to-do list, with many other things. On your new coil, We're just going to do a little bit, again, dielectric grease. Just a little dab here. That's a lot. Well, so we're just going to wipe some of that off. So take that good amount in there. Wipe out as much as you can. You really don't need a lot. And your bolt hole is going to go towards the top. Slide it back in. And you'll feel it really seat down onto the spark plug tight when you have a good quality part and it fits like it's meant to go there. Put your 10mm back in. I'm sure there's a torque spec for this, but good and tight will do it on this job. You don't need to over torque it. You're screwing into aluminum. Just nice and snug. Don't forget to plug your harness back in. All right, push it till it clicks. Give her a little pull, make sure it's not loose. And that's about it, guys. We have one down, 5 more to go. They're all about the same. You might just have a few wiring harnesses or little tubes to get out of the way, but they're very simple to get to right here on top of the motor. And that's all. Save a lot of money over going to the dealer. And I bought those with overnight shipping from Rock Auto. It was $200 for the whole set of 6. So it's a very reasonable job and good maintenance to keep in mind when your car is getting a little up on miles. This one has 200,000 on it, and I drive out of town far too often. I do not want to be worried about getting stranded somewhere. So that's all there is to it. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, just get out there in your garage and do it.